Hello and welcome to my video. Now I want you to do something for me. Imagine for me, if you will, you are a child. I know that's not that far from the reality. You are playing with your toys on the floor and the only noise around the house other than you is the TV making white noise behind you. Now your day goes pretty normally and aside from the slight boredom, you don't have any problem. And then it happens. The advertisement in the TV is finally over and an ominous song starts to play. You raise your hand in wonder, expecting to see some weird ad again, but then, what's this? It looks like a cartoon intro. But wait a second, you've never seen this cartoon before, and you know every cartoon this channel offers because, you're a child. There are two figures running from the cops and then a big car starts to move. Now you might be 8, but you know something that looks this cool can only be the good guy's car. Then the scene changes and the robbers climb the skyscraper. What? And then boom! A dark figure with milky white eyes in a mask comes down, and while you try to keep your hype to yourself, jumps one guy, knocks him up immediately, and then one punches the other one. After a while, police finds the tied up criminals, and then the camera pans up, and with a strike of lightning you just realize you have found your new best superhero. Well, how was that narration for you all? Because I just described all my first experience with Batman the Animated Series. Or at least with the intro. It's the show that made me meet Batman and all the characters DC could offer. From rogues to heroes to regular 10 HP human characters. And I want to talk about the show. The show that, in my opinion, made people realize superheroes can have dark or tragic tones in their show. The show that made me watch Justice League, Superman, and so much more. Now, before I start to talk about it, I want to make some things clear so we can all be in the same page. Take this part as your disclaimer, if you will. First, this is my first narrative essay review video, so while I would like to hear constructive criticism, please be gentle. Thank you. Secondly, English is not my first language, so I might probably butcher a lot of words. Just a bit of advice. Lastly, I want to make this review as spoiler free as I can, which means I won't be focusing on specific episodes, but rather the whole show. I would like people who are watching this video to be intrigued by it so they can watch the originals, or at least rewatch it. With all this out of the way, let's start. Batman the Animated Series, or as people usually call Batman B.T.AS, is an American animated television series based on the DC comic superhero, well, take a guess, Batman. The show was created by the legendary names like Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, and Eric Radomski, and originally aired from 1992 to 95 with 84 episodes. In 1997 the show continued once again under a new name that was The New Batman Adventures, with a new art style that has actually become the standard on that. But unfortunately the newer version of the Caped Crusader only lasts for 24 episodes. So in total the show is 109 episodes long, and let me tell you, they are a treat to watch. Actually, I don't even need to tell you that, because the 4 Emmy Awards under the show's belt can tell you how hard this thing slapped back in the day. For its time, the show was praised for its dark and mature tones, and also the creative new characters it included, with outstanding orchestral music, voice acting, and, at least for its time, animation work. Which is why, for a lot of magazines, B.T.AS was the second best animation show of the time, number 1 being Simpsons. Now, after praising the show like the second coming of Jesus, let's take a step back for a minute and let me be honest with you all. I actually couldn't remember the show that well. Now, let me clear myself. I knew the show, and because of it, I knew the Batman. But because I was so little when I watched the show, it was hard for me to remember. Of course, I did make a complete rewatch before writing, but like I said, because the show was so old, I start to forget. And I believe some of you may think because the show can clearly show its age, with the animation and all that, you'll get bored of it easily and forget about it too. Trust me when I say, give it a chance. You won't regret it, and at the very least, some cool moments will stay with you for a long while. For me, it was this scene, for example. Now, I already said I was gonna make it spoiler free, so you will have to watch the show in order to find the context of that clip. Wink! The last thing I wanna talk about is kinda looking like a bulletin board list, so let's just go from point to point. Maybe this way the video will stay in one direction. Number 1. The animation series actually give us Batman enjoys one thing that will never get away from us. Voices of Batman and Joker. Now, unless you have never seen any DC animated shows, you might be questioning why this is important. Let me tell you that. This voice is what all of us hear in our brains whenever we read something Batman related. Yeah, it's that good, and it's that deeply engraved in our basal ganglia. All jokes aside, Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, along with other voice actors of course, did such a great job that the only recent media that was in the same level, at least on my opinion, was in Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 2. With the success of the series, DC Animated Universe was created, and that was, at least in my eyes, the best thing when I was 5 or 6 years old. The continuity of the characters with the newer shows and better styled animations were a good reason for me to wake up early, just like I do right now. Number 3. The show was also praised for its thematic complexity compared to previous superhero cartoon shows. Also for its film noir aesthetics, which I just learned it's the term used to describe stylish Hollywood crime dramas, so yeah, let's just say it slapped again. Number 4. Now this is a little bit of meeting, let's just say, but I love the cape in this show, man. The Batman's cape is just go around, you know, it looks so cool, whatever. Lastly, there is a movie about the series called Batman Mask of the Phantasm. It's widely regarded as one of the best animated shows. Not just Batman related, but as animations. So yeah, check that one out too if you want. That's it. Yeah, that's really it. I'm not J-Station, so just do whatever you wanna do. Have a good day. See ya.